Yo, what's going on guys? Ian77 here. In today's video, we're going to be using Hog EQ with Firecracker once again. We're going to be trying to push to #1 live here. I was #1 earlier, but a few people have been pushing up quite a lot, so I think we're like top, I don't know, somewhere in the top 10 right now, so might be able to get it if we can get a few wins off here. Alright, so in the first match, we're going to be facing Anaban. He's probably going to be playing, seeing the Lumberjack here, he's probably going to be playing Balloon. He almost always plays Balloon Freeze, and I know a lot of you guys struggle with Balloon Freeze. Normally you guys struggle against the version with Bowler, I think, but the version Anaban is going to be playing here is probably going to be pretty similar. It's also going to be Lumberloon Freeze, except instead of like a Bowler or something, it is going to have P.E.K.K.A. in it, so might even be a little bit more difficult, so should be good right here, and you guys can probably take the same things away from this matchup. Alright, so this is a bit awkward for us here. I don't really want to cycle a Tesla early because it is single elixir still, so if I cycle it, he could probably pressure me with Loon in the other lane. I'd be kind of screwed, I think, so just going to be a bit more patient here. And I was kind of expecting the Queen up high, so I'm going to be able to protect the Firecracker with the Valkyrie, and he's actually going to freeze as well, which is kind of aggressive by him. Yeah, P.E.K.K.A. is going to get a little bit close to our tower, but I think we should be able to lure it back with the Hog, and actually pretty perfect defense right here. And he is going to go with a Lumberjack on the Hog. I guess he's trying to save his freeze for something else, like pulling our Firecrackers into his units, but worked out really well for us here. And he is going to go with the Balloon here, but I don't really think it's going to work out too well for him, because ever since the Balloon nerf, the Tesla will always soak up two hits from the Balloon pretty much, so yeah, pretty good stuff right here. And gonna EQ here as well in a second, and I was gonna Hog again, but we do have to be a little bit careful because he does have P.E.K.K.A., so he could get a pretty good counter push if we just keep on going with Hogs for no reason. And now that it is double elixir, I'm going to go with the pre-Tesla here. Unfortunately, the baby dragon will get a couple shots on it, so it is a bit weaker now than I would like, but he doesn't have NATO now for our Firecracker, so it should get quite a lot of value killing his push and kind of splashing everything. And even though the Tesla has nearly no HP, it's still going to kind of lure the Balloon towards the middle, so we can get a bit of a higher Tesla off right here. And I think we should be able to shut down his stuff pretty well. Yeah, the second tower actually did get a couple hits on the Balloon, so it kind of enabled us to counter everything pretty nicely here. And even though Queen can be annoying, because it does kind of block up the lane sometimes and require a certain response from us, it kind of also slows down his cycle a little bit, so it's actually kind of working in our favor here, whereas like if he had an Ice Wizard, he could just like keep playing it easily. And I'm just going to go with a Valclog here as well, because he did go with the P.E.K.K.A. in the back, so looks like he will be forced to freeze here, so that's pretty good for us. And we're going to go with a pre-Tesla in this position, just in case he goes with like a baby dragon to push his Balloon out of the sight range of like a normally placed Tesla. So if we go with it in that position, it should pull the Balloon no matter what he tries to do, so should work out pretty well here. And yeah, defense looking pretty good here. He is going to get a P.E.K.K.A. down in time here, so this is going to be a bit of a tricky defense, but luckily triple elixir is approaching pretty soon, so even though we're pretty low on elixir compared to him here, I think we might be able to survive. I'm gonna go with the Tesla as well. I'm not really scared at this point of him going in the opposite lane, because I could just defend the Balloon pretty cheaply with like a Firecracker, or I could just cycle back to another Tesla. So we do have a few things we can do here, but we don't have Queen in this deck, so we can't cycle Earthquakes as quickly, so I'm gonna cycle one here, but I'm gonna need a few more, and it's gonna be a bit slower to chip him out. Oh, and by the way, guys, I am preparing the Hog EQ guide video for 50,000 subscribers. I know we already hit it a little bit ago, but honestly taking a really long time to make it, but I think it should be released tomorrow, most likely. I was actually going to release it today, but it was a bit harder to record than I was expecting, so it's going to be delayed a little bit, but you guys can look forward to it probably tomorrow. Alright, so this is getting a little bit tricky here. I think we just need like one EQ and a log, so that's going to be game here against Anaban. Alright, hopping in the next match here, we're going to be facing this guy. He is an E-Giant main player, so probably going to be E-Giant versus Hog here, which is going to be honestly a lot better of a matchup when you have Firecracker compared to when you're using Archer Queen, so shouldn't be too bad right here. And by the way, guys, I think I will ask you guys some questions each video, just to, like, I don't know, see how things are going with you guys. So, what is your guys' best deck in Clash Royale right now? Like, what do you, like, do all of you guys play Hog EQ, or do a lot of you guys just watch me and you don't even play Hog EQ, but you just enjoy watching it? Because I think a lot of you can't even play Hog EQ just because of your levels on ladder, which are kind of under-leveled for a lot of the decks, so I know a lot of you guys are probably stuck with those random mid-ladder decks that you don't really like playing, but at least Hog EQ isn't too hard to level up, so I think if you guys try to level it up for like a little bit, you should be able to max it pretty quickly, especially with like the Book of Books and the wild cards and all of that stuff. Alright, so we're gonna get a Valkyrie off here, kind of predicting his queen there. You can kind of see that I kind of know these players' habits at this point, like against Anaban and against this guy. I kind of knew like the tricks that they would do. Like I knew Anaban would try to push his loon with the baby dragon to bypass our Tesla. I knew this guy would go with that queen at the bridge. So sometimes once you face the top players quite a few times, you just start to pick up on their habits. I'm just gonna EQ here. I was gonna go with the Hog Rider, but don't really want to go with it straight into the Dark Prince. So I'm just going to EQ the shield away from the Dark Prince, and just going to log it back as well and get some skeletons off. Alright, so he might go with E-Giant here pretty soon, because we did waste the Firecracker trying to, I don't know, just like put ourselves in a bit of a better cycle here, but, yeah, actually gonna get the Queen, on the getting hit by the Tesla, but, unfortunately, he does have skeletons in this deck, so he did kill it pretty easily, the Tesla, and didn't really do what we wanted it to do against the Queen. But luckily, this deck does have such a fast cycle that it didn't really matter here, and you were already able to get back to another Tesla super quickly. So, yeah, flawless defense looks like. And I'm gonna go with a Firecracker here. He's gonna actually go with Cage in the middle, kind of unfortunate. I was kind of hoping he would go with the Cage in front of the tower, so the Firecracker would get a bit of splash off, but still pretty good here, and we're just going to make sure to protect our Firecracker here. It's always really important to protect your Firecracker as much as possible in this matchup. Just really awkward for them to deal with it since they don't have like a fireball or like or arrows or anything like that. They only have lightning, so it's never really a good trade for them to go with the lightning on your Firecracker, so it can always get so much value, I feel like. Alright, so I'm just going to set up a pre-Tesla here. Always nice to go with the early Tesla so that you can get back to another one as quickly as possible. And I'm just going to go with the high Firecracker here, because if I went with it lower, it would kind of like, it would kind of start walking towards the Tesla, so then he could probably lightning everything. So I don't really want to give him the opportunity to do that. I'm just going to defend here, and I'm going to get another EQ off as well. It's usually pretty safe to go with EQs after like a successful defense, or if they just like spent a lot on something. So yeah, pretty good right here. He is going to be up a few elixir probably after we spent that EQ, but still looking fine here for us, because I know we have like pretty cheap defenses against his stuff, so I'm not really too worried about this stuff. Alright, and yeah, Firecracker just pushing itself back. It is going to get hit by the Dark Prince Mallet splash damage, I guess, but still pretty good right here. Bomber is actually going to get a shot on our tower, but we just have like such a big lead right here that I'm not really too worried about actually getting any damage right now. Yeah, we might cycle a few more EQs just for the sake of it, but we don't really need to do anything here besides just like stack Teslas and Firecrackers and all of that stuff. So yeah, really good here. And yeah, it's just so nice having Tesla against E-Giant, because it always survives with like 1 HP, and then it just pulls the E-Giant across the entire map. Like as you saw there, that first Tesla that was up kept on pulling that second E-Giant he played, and even though it only had like 1 HP, it still made his push pretty much useless at that point, so really good for us. I'm just going to go with the low Tesla here because of his queen having the ability up. He's going to lightning it, but I think we should be okay here. Okay, he's gonna tornado as well, so just going to get back to another Tesla here, and he could E-Giant again, but it's probably not even gonna cross the map in time, so yeah, that's going to be game here. You can see that you just have to be really patient in matchups like these, and just defend well and take your EQs when you can get them. Oh, man. Alright, we're gonna be facing this guy next. I really don't want to face this guy. I'm pretty sure he's a Golem clone player, and he always goes with, like, Golem first play whenever he has it in hand, so... luckily, I guess he's not gonna have it in his starting hand right there, but... yeah, gonna be a very interesting matchup here. But yeah, just gonna EQ here, kind of see what he's doing. So against Golem clone, you don't really want to ever cycle your Firecrackers, because they usually have arrows in their decks, so if you cycle the first Firecracker and it gets arrowed, you have to make sure you have a second one up and ready by the time their push starts getting closer to your tower, otherwise you can't really have any way to like stop all the cloned units and everything. And luckily we do get a good amount of damage at the start here, just from like a hog hit and an EQ, I'm pretty sure, so yeah, looking pretty good here. Gonna try to cycle back to another Firecracker as quickly as possible, so now we'll have it ready for whatever his next push will be. And he's gonna kind of waste a Skarmy there as well. I'm gonna get like a Valk hit and a couple of skeleton chip hits, so already off to a really good start right here. And yeah, so you know, I was saying you never really want to cycle your Firecracker, but if they do play a Night Witch in the back, that can give you a good reason to go with a Firecracker. So I'd probably only go with a Firecracker if they went with like the Golem in the back, or if they went with like a Night Witch on the field somewhere, because once they waste your Night Witch, you don't really need to save your Firecracker for anything after that. I mean, it's always good to save it if you can, but you don't have to, so, yeah. And if you know your Firecracker will kind of like stay across the map, you can cycle it kind of more freely in double elixir, especially because it will just kind of like sit around the map since there's a lot more troops in double elixir. And he's actually gonna have EQ for some reason. I'm not sure if he like put that in there to snipe cycle players or something, but that's kind of interesting. And he does actually miss like a good amount of the clone right there, so his push is going to be pretty weak here. And I'm going to give him a bit of BM, because he is that guy who always goes with Golem first play, then just BMs you after he wins, so we should probably BM him a little bit for that. I'm just going to log here as well. I was kind of hoping he might scar me into that, but it looks like he isn't going to scar me into it, but either way it's going to work out pretty well for us, because we're going to take pretty much his entire tower, and yeah, we can probably take his right tower as well, so yeah, I don't think he has any way to break through here, and I guess he might have like EQ over arrows or something, which is honestly kind of working out better for us, because even though it counters our Tesla pretty well, it's not as good against our Firecracker, so we can just like really spam him all the time very easy with the Firecracker stacking. And yeah, as you saw there, that was like such a big push, but the Firecracker just like completely one-shot it, just killing all of the cloned units, so yeah, that's kind of the beauty of Firecracker. You kind of wreck these random clone decks and all of that stuff, and that's going to be game. Alright, hopping in the next match here, we're going to be facing this guy. I did face him pretty recently, I think, in one of the previous videos, if I remember correctly, so I'm pretty sure he is going to be using Giant Graveyard, which is going to be... yeah, he's going to go with the Giant first place. This is going to be a pretty tough matchup, I think, because he does have, like, I'm pretty sure he does have Fisherman and stuff, which is probably going to make it even harder than normal since he can activate his King Tower, but I'm going to see what we can do here. You do always have a chance with Hog EQ, Firecracker, that's kind of why I picked up the deck, so, yeah. We're actually going to have a really clean defense right there. We're going to predict his Fisherman with the skeletons there, so kind of just allowed all of our units to get a lot more value than they could have if the Fisherman had pulled them properly, so yeah, off to a really good start. Got a few hog hits as well, so yeah, I couldn't really ask for a better start here, and he didn't even activate his King Tower either, so yeah, pretty good. I'm just gonna cycle a Firecracker early. I'm pretty sure the Dark Prince would have charged on our tower if I didn't use the Ice Spirit, so that's why I went with it early, and I didn't really want to waste the Valkyrie either, because I kind of need it on defense sometimes. Yeah, because he had the Night Witch up, he kind of had to go with the High Fisherman, so it didn't allow him to activate the King Tower or anything, and it worked out pretty well for us here. It looks like he's going to go with a Giant on offense, but I'm pretty sure he can just Valkyrie most of his push, and it should be a pretty good defense. He's going to get the Graveyard off, and unfortunately the Night Witch does spawn another set of bats, so might be a little bit more annoying to defend than I was hoping, but Ice Spirit is going to clean up the bats really well, so it actually worked out super well for us right here. Alright, and he still will have to like take a hog hit whenever he decides to activate his King Tower, because the hog always gets one shot off when they try to activate against it, so should be pretty good here. I'm just gonna Valkyrie in this position. If you go with the Valkyrie really low like that, it'll make it so that it will hit the Dark Prince after the shield is already off, so you can kind of counter it a bit easier and have a Valkyrie with a bit more HP left, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, pretty risky position, because like if you mistime it or like do anything wrong, it could easily get the charge on your tower instead, but kind of worth it usually. Alright, so gonna get an Ice Spirit off here. It's gonna hit a lot of the bats, but there's still gonna be 3 remaining because of the Night Witch kind of spawning a few more, but pretty good spot right here. We are in a bit of an awkward spot where he's kind of just like cycling Night Witches, so we can't really like push into him too well, which is kind of awkward for us, but luckily we do have a pretty good lead already, so we don't really need to push into him too much unless he, I don't know, unless he gets a lot of damage or something like that, so I think we should be fine here. Honestly, only the bats are the only annoying part of this matchup. Well, kind of like the Night Witch and the bats, because it kind of just like makes it a bit awkward for us here, but I'm just going to use a Hog here. He is going to get quite a lot of bat chip on our tower, unfortunately, and he's going to fully defend the Hog too, and he's going to go with the Giant, but luckily the Firecracker in the other lane is actually going to be helping out a bit against his push, so he's going to go with Graveyard too, but I'm pretty sure the Firecracker just going to do a really good job right here. Yeah, that's what I love about Firecracker. It's always like traveling across the map and even going in the completely opposite lane, but it still manages to turn around and help you defend. So yeah, really good right here for us. So we probably just have to defend this last push here, and that could be game here, but it's going to be quite risky. Okay, Ice Spirit not going to be completely perfect. He's going to have a couple of surviving bats, but yeah, we're going to defend pretty okay here. We do need like 2 more EQs, or like a Hog hit, or a few logs in an EQ, but yeah, he is going to go with the Fisherman here, so I don't think we're going to get it here, but we can probably cycle back to another EQ really quickly. A log won't be quite enough, but I think that's going to be game. Okay, that was really close, but yeah, that's going to be a pretty nice win here. Alright, in the next game here, we're going to be facing this guy. I'm pretty sure this is a filthy Expo user, so I'm gonna have to make sure to beat him right here. Can't let the Expo users win, because that would just be against the rules of BRAD and YouTube in general. So gonna have to beat him here, and we're just gonna go with the EQ on his tower, because I'm pretty sure he does usually run Expo with Rocket, so I'm gonna be good to get the early chip damage. I'm not really too worried about wasting my EQ, because I know I can defend his Teslas or his Expos really easily using the Valkyrie plus Tesla combo of our own, so yeah. By the way, guys, sorry if I sometimes slip up on my words. I'm just not the best commentator yet, but I'm working on it, so you know. Alright, so yeah, he's gonna have Queen as well in this deck. I'm just gonna go with the early Ice Spirit Skeletons on his Queen. He's going to activate the ability as well, but since it makes the Queen go slower when it's in the ability form, it's not really too bad for us here, and yeah, in a pretty good spot right here. Gonna go with the Hog here. I was kind of hoping to outcycle his Tesla, but he does go with his cheap cards right before I went in with the Hog there, so not too good for us, but pretty good spot overall, I would say. I'm just gonna get another EQ off as well. Even though normally you do want to go same lane as Expo and you're playing Hog EQ, it's not really worth it when they're running the Queen version, because then they can kind of just like block up the lanes with the Queens and kind of mess you up, or not really allow you to attack at all. So yeah, okay, I was kind of scared that the Expo might lock on our tower, but luckily the Valkyrie does block it, and he might get a bit of chip damage, but I think it should be okay here. Yeah. I mean, even though we kind of prefer to go opposite lane of him, it's still not bad to get some chip damage in the same lane. And I'm going to go with the Hog Rider in the back here in a bit, just so that we can, like, hopefully force him to play a couple cards before his Tesla or something. So, yeah, he's going to go with a Tesla there, but I think the Hog might actually... Yeah, so the nice thing is that the Hog will sometimes go in that position where it doesn't get targeted by the tower and it's still hitting the Tesla, so that's, like, really, really ideal for you. Alright, and we are up a few hundred damage here, so don't have to be like too panicked with our plays or anything. Just gonna kind of play stuff out and see what happens. Alright, so Hog doesn't actually get any hit there. I was kind of hoping we get one shot, but he did waste his knight there, so should be able to defend pretty easily with the Valkyrie plus Tesla here. And he does go with the Queen as well, but I think it should be pretty easy to defend because it is double elixir already, so don't have to worry too much about his Queens breaking through. You do have to be a bit careful in single elixir to not overcommit, otherwise his Queens can kind of wreck you when they're playing an Expo deck, so you do still have to be a little bit careful. It is a bit harder when they have Queen compared to archers, I think, so yeah. Luckily the Firecracker does get a good amount of chip damage on his tower though, and it is going to help out there too, kind of ricocheting the Expo a little bit, or whatever you call it. So yeah, we're up a ton of damage here already. I'm not sure if he actually has Rocket or Fireball. Okay, we do actually kind of misplace the Hog there, but honestly it shouldn't matter too much. He is still going to defend it a little bit cheaper, but, or like not using the Tesla, which is a little bit worse for us, but it should be pretty okay still, I think. And yeah, the Firecracker is going to force his Queen ability to be used really early, so I'm not really going to get too much value against our Valkyrie, and Valkyrie going to tank for everything and defend pretty well here. Alright, so yeah, he does have like a 3-card cycle while he's having a Queen on the field, so it is going to be a little bit more risky here sometimes, but even if he does try to outcycle us, I think we should be pretty fine here. And it is triple elixir, so he shouldn't really get any Expo lock unless we just like make a pretty big misplay, I feel like, so I think we should be fine here. I'm gonna go with that Valkyrie Hog as well, just because it's triple elixir, so I'm not really scared of spending like most of my elixir here, and we do have a really cheap cycle, so we should be able to cycle back to other stuff. And it's gonna be a little bit risky here against his Queen. Yeah, luckily we do keep getting the Valkyries down in time, so should be a pretty good defense right here. And he's gonna go with an Expo in the middle, actually in the other lane than he was attacking the whole game, but should be pretty good here. Gonna EQ the Expo and the tower, so yeah, looking really good here. And we're kind of just gonna like stop his Queen at the bridge, so he kind of has to use the ability really early. I'm not really gonna get too much value out of it. Yeah, that's gonna be game here in a second, so yeah, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Easy wins against the filthy Expo user. Just kidding, I love you guys, even if you play Expo. And just another day casually being #1. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!